but they should at least be honest. Because lying is treachery. And weak people are always lying to themselves. So how can you expect them to tell you the truth? Let's analyze that. If somebody is constantly lying to themselves, how can you expect them to be honest with you? They lie because their entire worldview and all of their self-esteem is built on a lie. Lies are all they know. Weak people will pretend that strength is not important. This is a huge leap. This takes incredible courage. They say, we don't live in the caveman days. Right, we don't. It doesn't matter, but it does matter, and we'll discuss why it matters. But the fact that they will bend reality to avoid them having to put in some effort is actually a huge red flag. So let's analyze this. I have a strong business partner, I have a weak business partner. Both of them don't try. Who is more honest to admit, who is more likely to be honest and admit to me they did not try? The person who understands that trying is necessary to yield results, I go to the gym every day, or the person who believes that you don't really need to try because it's not important. These people are fundamentally dishonest. When I see somebody who is not strong and not interested in being strong, I know that their word doesn't mean anything because they've been lying to themselves their entire life. So I don't trust them. Another reason I do not trust them. The forces which are externally applied by your enemies, by the matrix, and by life. Meaning they are likely to betray you. If your friend is strong and he is dragged into a police interview, he is less likely to bend, break, or sell you out than if he was weak. Because a weak person is afraid of persecution. A weak person is afraid of consequences. They are afraid of going to jail. So a weak person is more likely to bend and break in the scenario in which they have to put their own personal liberty on the line to defend you, as opposed to a strong person. A strong person knows they can handle. They understand that being honorable will be rewarded karmically by God, and they can handle the consequences of doing that. If you can't handle the consequences of being honorable, how can you ever be expected to act honorable? So weak people are great when everything is great, but they are useless when times get hard. And ask yourself, do you want friends who are great when things are great, or do you want friends who are there when times are hard? If your life's already going well and everything's going great, what do you need them for? You want to go drinking? You want to party? You want to laugh? You want to be a bunch of clowns and achieve very little? Because when times are going well, when everything is perfect, that's when you enjoy the hedonistic side of life. You don't grow as a person. Often you don't achieve so much. You're only achieving and growing as a person during the most difficult times in your life. When things are going perfectly, that's when it's all just a clown show. Do you want friends who are capable clowns but are completely useless in a war? If you do, then perhaps you are that type of person, because birds of a feather flock together. If you're the kind of person who thinks it's okay to have friends which are only useful during the best times of your life for entertainment and provide no utility during the worst times in your life, then perhaps you are one of those types of people. I believe that my circle should be most useful to me and most loyal to me when the chips are down. When everything's going well, it's private jets, it's champagne, it's pretty girls, it's penthouses, it's Bugattis. That's great. I can do that by myself. When I need help is when I need friends. So I enjoy spending the good times with my friends because I know they would be there in the bad times. And you can't rely on weak people, because even if they have the best of intentions, even if they love you with all of their heart, their love means nothing, because external pressure will make them break. It doesn't matter how much they love you. It doesn't matter what their intention is. It doesn't matter what they promise. It doesn't matter what they say. All that matters is all of that will go out the window once they break, because they are weak. If a weak man says to you, I got your back 100%, bro. He may mean it when he says it. He will convince you because he is not lying. But he is incapable of resisting pressure. So all of those words go out the window once he breaks. So when a weak person says something to you, you can ignore it. It's worth nothing. Every word that comes out of a weak person's mouth is a lie. Because they've spent their entire life lying to themselves, and by extension, they're going to lie to you. Another reason I don't like weak people is they're broadcasting to the world that they lack discipline. Because the great thing about strength is that it's actually very easy to achieve. You don't need any fancy program. You don't need any fancy lesson. You need to pick something up and put it down over and over until you project strength. Now, I will teach you how to get stronger inside the real world. We have a fitness campus. There's endless free YouTube videos. If you need more information, it exists. But this I need information, this feigned ignorance, is only an excuse for laziness and cowardice. Truthfully, anybody knows what it takes to get strong. So let's analyze as professionals. If everybody understands what it takes to get strong, and they understand that they are viewed differently for being strong, and that they are viewed in a positive light for being strong, and still refuses to become strong, they are telling you that they lack dedication, they lack the motivation required to do hard things, and that when the going gets tough, they quit. That's what they are saying to you, and you can instantly see it, whether they want to say it or not. That's what they broadcast permanently. It doesn't matter if it's a business discussion. It doesn't matter if it's a fitness discussion. It doesn't matter. When you see a big, strong man, you know he has at least the qualities of dedication. You know he is prepared to push past a certain point where most people would quit. You know he's the kind of person who understands how important it is to be seen in a certain way so they're protective of their reputation, that they're proud of themselves. If I was obese, saying the exact same things I was saying to you, you wouldn't listen. None of you would be on this emergency meeting listening to me if it was word for word the same if I was obese. You are here because you know I understand the tenets of strength, and I understand the tenets of discipline. So these are people who are prepared to broadcast to the world that they lack discipline purely because they are so monumentally lazy, or they are so afraid of difficulty that they would rather suffer that than fix the problem. What does that tell you about a potential business collaboration? What does that tell you about an FBI interrogation? What does that tell you about a nightclub combative situation? It tells you that these people are not going to be there when the going gets tough, because everybody knows how to fix it. Strength is an important outward broadcast for every single man. And anybody who is weak has accepted how they are viewed because they are so monumentally lazy that they're not prepared to do what it takes. And they also try and cope for that themselves. And if they are dishonest with themselves, they are going to be permanently dishonest with you. And that is why, once I created my life to look for people around me who valued, coveted, worked towards strength, a lot of the treachery has disappeared. When I was in jail, nobody in my circle betrayed me. Nobody. Which is actually very rare. When a man gets arrested and 50 of his people are dragged into rooms and threatened with jail, someone usually bends and breaks. This happens in the mafia. This happens in the big criminal gangs. The baddest of the bad people, they find a rat. With me, they couldn't find a single rat. Because I have people around me I can trust. Which is also, because it's not just physical strength, we're also talking about mental strength. And I'm going to say something which is highly controversial. I know that's unlike me, but this is very important. If you have somebody in your circle that is struggling with an addiction, as a good friend, perhaps you can try and help them. But if they continue to struggle with this addiction, if their mind is so weak that they are controlled by this substance, whatever it is, will they sell you out for this substance sooner or later? Why are you trying to help this person and have this monumental liability near you? I say depression isn't real because I believe that. I don't believe depression is real because by believing in it, you give it power. If you say depression is a real thing, you can become depressed. Much like a ghost. If you're afraid of ghosts, you're afraid to be in a forest alone at night. If you don't believe in ghosts, you're not afraid to be in the forest because there's nothing to fear. I don't believe in depression. And I've had a more difficult life than all of the people I've ever met who told me they were depressed. Which is once again confirmed to me that depression is not real. And you cannot change my mind because I will not adhere to a mindset which weakens me. So I don't want to listen to people who are sad about how the world works. So depressed people can't convince me that it's real. These are weak people. If I had somebody near me who was depressed, could I trust them? Could I trust them if things got hard? Could I trust them with money? If somebody is so depressed that they refuse to get up and do the right things for their own life, do you think they're going to do the right things for me and my life and our mission? Can you trust somebody who cannot control their own mind? There are people out there which are so mentally weak, they will think of a thought, and that thought will destroy them. They will have a thought that they create in their own mind themselves. It's in their head. And instead of turning it off or fixing it, they will allow it to fester to the point where their body and their life degrades. And they will be defeated by their own thought. Can you trust somebody who is that weak? When somebody near me says they're depressed, they have about a day to snap out of it. Because if there's someone around me who is depressed, I don't trust them anymore. Why would I want friends who aren't excited to stay alive? I mean, you're depressed. You want to jump off a building. Well,
This groundbreaking charger is taking the tech world by storm. It can charge your phone from 0 to 100%.
What good are you in a combat situation? You're ready to die anyway. You've already given up. I don't need those people, and I don't want those people. And by curating your life to only have strong people in it, not only do you remove many attack vectors, because I want to make this clear, on a long enough time frame, weakness will betray you. Every single time I have ever been too gracious to a weak person, I was betrayed. Just like I said, if I drop this phone, I know it will fall. If you are friends with somebody weak, they will betray you. And it doesn't matter what they have a weakness for. If they have a weakness for gambling, they will steal your money. If they have a weakness for women, they'll try and sleep with your ex. If they have a weakness because they're depressed, they're going to externally blame you and blame the entire world for their own lifestyle choices. If they have a physical weakness, then you cannot rely on them in a police interrogation or a combat situation. The easiest way to identify if somebody is going to betray you or not is simply based on, are they strong or weak? And this can also be extrapolated to intention. This can also be extrapolated out to intention. So let's ask ourselves something important. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's pretend you had two friends. One was big and strong. One was small and weak. And both of them decided, for whatever reason, to betray or subvert you. The big strong man would be obvious about his intention and use his strength and power, because that's one of his moves. Inside of his poker deck, he has the, I'm big and strong, this is what I'm going to do, get over it. The weak man doesn't have that. So the weak man can only resort to treachery, to sneaky behavior, to hidden shadow intentions. Big, strong men can be honest because big, strong men are unafraid. So if I had a friend and I didn't want to be their friend anymore, I could sit and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Why? Because you're depressed and I don't trust you. Well, are you betraying me? You're not helping me with my depression? No, I am not. Please leave my house. I'll say it straight to your face. A weak person won't do that. A weak person will hide. lie, make up excuses.